In the annals of medical history, few stories are as shocking, as unbelievable, as the tale of Phineas Gage. A tale of survival against impossible odds, of a man who lived with a hole in his head. The year was 1848. The place? Cavendish, Vermont. Phineas Gage, a 25-year-old railroad foreman, was going about his daily work. Little did he know that in mere moments, his life would change forever.
Hand me that tamping iron, would you?
The tamping iron, a metal rod over 3 feet long and 1.25 inches in diameter. In Gage's experienced hands, it was a tool. In the next instant, it would become a missile, a spark, an explosion. And then, the iron rod shot through Gage's left cheek, tore through his brain, and exited through the top of his skull. It landed nearly 100 feet away, covered in blood and brain matter.
My God, Phineas!
The workers rushed to what they assumed would be Gage's lifeless body, but to their astonishment,
What happened?
Phineas Gage was alive. Not only alive, but conscious and speaking. Dr. John Martin Harlow, the physician who would treat Gage, later wrote,
He got up and walked to the cart where he was taken, and when he arrived at the hotel, he got out of the cart himself, and with a little assistance, walked up a long flight of stairs to the hall where he was dressed.
It seemed impossible. A man with a hole through his skull and brain, walking and talking. But Phineas Gage's ordeal was far from over. For 20 days, Gage drifted in and out of consciousness. Infection set in. His left eye swelled and pushed out of its socket. His family prepared for the worst, but Gage was a fighter. Against all odds, he began to recover.
I am in hopes to have him up in a chair in a few days.
2 months after the accident, Phineas Gage walked out of the hotel where he had been recuperating. He had survived, but the Phineas Gage who emerged was not the same man who had entered.
Gage was no longer Gage.
These words, attributed to Gage's friends, hinted at the profound changes in his personality. The once efficient, capable foreman had become impulsive, irreverent, and prone to profanity.
The equilibrium or balance, so to speak, between his intellectual faculties and animal propensities seems to have been destroyed.
Gage had survived physically, but his personality, his very essence, had been altered. For years, Gage drifted. He worked as a stagecoach driver in Chile, amazed onlookers at Barnum's Museum in New York, and eventually found his way to San Francisco. But time was not on Phineas Gage's side. In 1860, 12 years after his accident, Gage began experiencing seizures. He died on May 21, 1861, in the care of his family. He was just 37 years old, but Phineas Gage's story doesn't end there. In fact, in many ways, it was just beginning. Gage's incredible survival and the changes in his personality fascinated the medical community. His case became a cornerstone in the study of neuroscience, providing early evidence of the brain's role in personality and behavior. Gage's story served as the historical beginnings of the study of the biological basis of behavior. Today, over 170 years after that fateful explosion, Phineas Gage continues to be studied, discussed, and debated in medical schools and neuroscience labs around the world. His skull and the famous tamping iron are on display at Harvard Medical School's Warren Anatomical Museum, silent witnesses to one of the most extraordinary survival stories in medical history. So, is Phineas Gage living now? Not in body, but in the annals of science, in the textbooks of medical students, in the minds of researchers pushing the boundaries of our understanding of the human brain. Phineas Gage is very much alive. His legacy continues to shape our understanding of the brain, personality, and the resilience of the human spirit. In that sense, the man with a hole in his head will live forever. This has been the incredible story of Phineas Gage, railroad foreman, medical miracle, an unwitting pioneer in the field of neuroscience. A man who truly lived with a hole in his head, and whose story continues to captivate us to this day. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of medicine's most fascinating tales. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And remember, the next time life throws you a curveball, think of Phineas Gage, The man who took an iron rod through the head and lived to tell the tale.